It's been a year since the first Yemeni refugees began arriving in South Korea. Many greeted them with anger and protests and called them fake refugees. It was a strong reaction to a few hundred people fleeing a war zone. Like almost every other country, South Korea has now closed its doors to Yemenis. But the ones who made it in say they've been trying to make a life for themselves here. We met two Yemenis who recently came to Seoul from Jeju Island, where they first arrived. Like most of the new Yemeni arrivals, they've only been given a one-year visa that allows them to work. It's still unclear if they'll be able to renew them or not. And now, they want to make the best of the situation they're in.
Yemenis are in a new place here, and they've run away from war. They have families, and they have to help them. Others came to finish their education. It's difficult when you're 22, and you see everyone studying, and you didn't finish. A lot of Yemenis like the Korean language, and want to learn it so they can settle here. And others want to learn English, so that they can use it if they're successful traveling somewhere else.
But Omar has been unsettled by the reception Yemenis have received from some South Koreans.
It's currently difficult to show them what you're like, your culture, or anything like that. Right now, the situation that we're in is bad. Some people's psychological state isn't good. Their families are in a war zone, so I hope Koreans don't look negatively towards us. We have worries and we have problems, so it's hard for us to smile sometimes.
Omar's friend Magid, not his real name, can't go back to Yemen. His father and brother were killed by Al-Qaeda in an attack Magid was also injured in, and he says he has no sympathy for South Koreans who protested against his arrival.
They didn't give us a chance. You have to give someone a chance to show you either their good intentions or their bad ones. The Korean people have lived through wars, so they should understand. When I tell people I'm from Yemen, and there's already been a protest saying Yemenis are fake refugees, well then I'm a fake refugee in their eyes. They've ruined our reputation before they even knew anything about us.
For Yemenis halfway across the world from home, it must be nice to find something just a little bit familiar. On this street you can find Seoul's main mosque, as well as restaurants selling halal meat, both Korean and foreign cuisine. But this is just a tiny area in what is a very homogeneous country, and some refugees simply don't feel welcome here.
But some South Koreans say they're justified in their reaction to Yemeni refugees. Kwon Woo-seong is an IT student and says one day he wants to be a politician. For now, he writes a blog where he's been critical of people from Yemen.
There are only a few hundred Yemeni refugees in South Korea. Why are you so worried about them?
I am specifically against Yemeni refugees. I'm not against all refugees, as we're living in a global society. Putting mutual respect and human rights issues aside, it would be ideal if we could accept and embrace everyone. But South Korean news has reported a lot of negative stories about Yemeni refugees, and we can't ignore the growing fear and anxiety among South Korean citizens.
And Woo-seong points to a common complaint among South Koreans, that they need to take care of their own first.
Let's take Trump as an example. He says that he puts America first. Shouldn't South Korea do the same? Unemployment rates are high, and single households are increasing, along with the replacement of manpower by machines. Times are changing fast, but it's not the right time to accept refugees just yet. There are over 1 million unemployed youth, and South Koreans' interests should be top priority.
Most people in South Korea are ethnically Korean. People haven't immigrated in large numbers, even as the country has become one of the most developed in the world. Some people here believe that all Koreans come from a common ancestor and place an emphasis on pure blood. But things are changing. South Korea has one of the world's lowest birth rates, and immigrants are becoming an economic necessity.
South and North Korea
are defined as being ethnically homogeneous. They are countries with the lowest ratio of immigrants and foreigners. South Korea has become an advanced industrial society, but has the lowest ratio of immigrants amongst developed countries. But recently, things are changing. The number of foreigners has exceeded 2 million. When these foreigners eventually settle down, there will be various groups of them, which I see as a transition to a multicultural society.
상황이 바뀌고 있습니다.
Just being ethnically Korean doesn't necessarily make it easy to integrate into society here. These members of the Koryo Saram group are taking lessons in the Korean language. They're descendants of Koreans who migrated to Russia in the 19th and 20th centuries, and were then deported by Stalin to Central Asia in the 1930s. Over the past decade or so, some have come from Russia and other places like Uzbekistan back to South Korea. But it hasn't been easy. Most can't speak Korean, and they're not able to easily gain citizenship. Igor Im is a Koryo Saram community leader and first came to South Korea from Uzbekistan more than 15 years ago. He says he feels Korean, but thinks that some Koreans might not agree.
Я сам себя чувствую здесь комфортно.
I feel comfortable here, but it's about how I'm accepted by them. That's the main question. We believe that this is our homeland. Our native homeland is Korea. It's just that I was born in Uzbekistan, so it's also my homeland. But I believe that Korea hasn't accepted us yet. I think it's time for them to recognize who we are and accept us. Otherwise, they're making our lives harder.
Like most immigrants in South Korea, the Koryo Saram feel uncertain about their status, and the path to permanent residency and citizenship is hard. But walk around Seoul and it's clear that this city and this country is changing. Immigration and the diversity that comes with it is becoming a fact of life. But is South Korean society ready and willing to accept that? Abubakr al Shamahi, The Newsmakers, Seoul.